So, this is how I went from broke to making my first $1 million. I grew up in a middle family with two older brothers. We're all boys. And my parents always said that they wished one of their sons would take over the family business. But me being the youngest, I always felt that pressure of like, I gotta do something with my life. I gotta make them proud. But the thing is, I had zero ideas and I was terrible at school. Like, I barely graduated high school, so I didn't really have any skills. I didn't have any talents. I wasn't good at sports. I wasn't good at academics. I was just kind of average at everything. And on top of that, I grew up very poor. Like, we were on welfare. My mom had to work 2 jobs just to pay the bills. And I remember thinking to myself, if I ever become successful, it'll be on my own terms. I'm not going to work for anybody else. I'm going to do things my own way. And then when I turned 16, I started hanging out with some older guys and they got me into some trouble. I got arrested for a DUI. I was like, you know what? This isn't going to end well. Sure enough, my parents were called and they were grounded. They were so disappointed. And I remember sitting in my room and just thinking, man, I've got no education. I've got no job skills. I don't have any money. Like, I'm broke. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be able to make them proud. I'm not going to amount to anything. I'm probably just going to end up back in jail. So I needed a new plan and I needed it fast. I didn't have much time to waste. And that's when I decided I wanted to start a business. The only problem was I didn't know what kind of business to start. I didn't have any money to invest. I didn't know any investors. I didn't have any experience. I didn't know any suppliers. I didn't have a product. I didn't even have a name. All I did have was this one thing. My personal experience. I knew what it was like to be poor. I knew what it was like to struggle. I knew what it was like to feel like a failure. And so I wanted to start a business that would help other people who were going through the same thing. The only problem was I didn't know any millionaires. I didn't know any successful entrepreneurs. I didn't know anyone who could help me. But I did know one thing. Where there's smoke, there's fire. So I started looking for problems to solve, and I eventually came across this one, homeless people. I saw them everywhere, but nobody seemed to care. They were invisible. So I started talking to them, trying to figure out how I could help, and eventually I found a way. I don't want to give too much away, but I started a coffee business. Now, I'm not saying that you should start a coffee business, but I am saying that you should use your personal experiences to solve other people's problems. Because if you do that, you will never have problems making money.